Martin Luther King says that we must develop and maintain the capacity to forgive. They who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. Oprah says forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could have been different. It's accepting the past and for what it was and using this moment and this time to help yourself move forward. She also says that forgiveness is saying thank you for the experience. Maya Angelou says, it is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Forgive everybody. And Gandhi says, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is an attribute of the strong. So today we're going to talk about forgiveness, what wants your forgiveness, what needs your forgiveness in your life, talking about the attributes of yourself that maybe you haven't forgiven, or your actions, or things you've said, or things you haven't done. But today we're just going to talk about how your light wants to shine through, and it needs your forgiveness to do that. And how we can just accept and love ourselves fully so that we can embrace the newness and the blessings that want to come in. Okay? All right. So there are 3 piles to choose from. I'm going to do my blessing, my prayer, and then we will just get into it. First, my name is Kellen Love. This is my tarot channel. I also have a personal channel. I'm on Instagram and Twitter and all that good stuff. I'm an artist, a painter, a photographer, and a reader. So I'm so happy you're here. I love having you in my time and space. I love giving myself this time and space to do this because this is what I love, and I need a lot of self-forgiveness. So this is really helping me heal myself by being able to give messages, because really we're all just talking to ourselves out here. All right, so that's me. I'm Kellen_Love on Instagram. I've got Kellen Love on YouTube. And yeah, we'll just do our prayer and get right into it. Okay. All right. Dear Heavenly Father and Mother, thank you for being here. Thank you for blessing me. Thank you for this life that I have. Thank you, my higher self. Thank you for the channeled messages and the light that you flood into me. I pray that my higher self obviously be here, and that my viewers' higher selves come and be activated and be here. Thank you for my guides, my angels, my ancestors, my loved ones, the wise ones, the ascended masters, all the gods and goddesses, energies and entities about love, wisdom, forgiveness, peace. Thank you for being here. I invite you in this space. I invite you to bless me and bless my viewers. Bless their time and their energy and those around them. Bless my time and my energy, my words, my cards, my writing. And thank you. Just thank you for being here. Thank you for today. Thank you for this reading. Thank you for forgiveness. Bless us as we're on this journey to forgive ourselves. In the name of love, Ashe, amen, so mote it be, and so it is. All right, so we have 3 cards to pick from. All reptiles. All reptiles came out today, so I don't know what that's about, but maybe forgiveness is hard because we all got such tough skin or something. I don't know. All right, so the first one is the lizard. Kind of trippy. Lizard. The second one is the cosmic egg with the snake. And the third one is the crocodile. Okay, so lizard, cosmic egg, or crocodile. Take your pick, 1, 2, and 3. And we will go ahead and get started. All right. So if you chose the lizard pile, this is your reading. First, I'll do my written messages, and then we will get into the cards, okay? What needs your forgiveness is how you've been so anxious, or your anxiety. The whole point of these messages is to forgive ourselves, and accept things about ourselves. So it might be ongoing. It might be a very active thing that you need to continuously do, is you forgive and let go and love. These are active practices. It's not just something like, we're not just done healing. It's always an active process of healing. But your maybe anger and anxiety need forgiveness. And I say that with a heavy heart because I get it and I struggle with that. But for one, we need to forgive ourselves for what we have done, and then forgive ourselves when we're in it. But yeah, it's forgiving ourselves, especially for the kind of the damage that we do to ourselves and others. But just know that anytime you are anxious or angry or whatever, it's because you're hurting and you're in pain. And fear, is so potent sometimes. And I'm sure that if you're watching this video, and that if you're really trying to personally develop yourself, then you want to heal and you want to get past that. So just know that you do have the motivation and the will and the drive to heal yourself, and you are healing yourself. You are healing, but that doesn't mean that it's you're going to be perfect. That doesn't mean you're not going to have these low moments. And just forgive yourself, so that you can ask for forgiveness from other people and yourself. Like, you got to forgive yourself so that you can forgive others, and so that you can ask for them to forgive you. But yeah, so just anytime that you're angry or whatever, just forgive yourself and understand that there's a lot of pain and fear that's very deep, and we can't just get past it sometimes. Sometimes it really just flares up or whatever. But, we're human, and we fuck up and we get angry, and the world is really hard. So please just forgive yourself for things that, when you get too irritated. And obviously we want to find coping mechanisms, and we don't want to take our anxiety out on other people. But when it happens, and when it does, we want to forgive ourselves so that we can move on, so we can change and heal. Okay, so we also want to forgive ourselves for overworking, and hopefully we're forgiving ourselves so it happens less. But you might have really exhausted yourself a lot. You might have really, just hit burnout. But we really want to forgive that, and obviously rest a little bit more, and just watch our energy. We got to be a little bit more aware of when our energy is getting, when our energy is getting low, and when we are getting irritated. A lot of times when we're angry or irritated or sad, that's when we don't want to work out or drink some water or whatever. But those little self-care things really lessen the, that irritability or the fear and anxiety. So obviously we got to watch our breathing and all that good stuff, but just a little self-care goes a long way. And forgiving yourself for the self-care that you haven't done or whatever. But, shaming ourselves isn't going to change ourselves. So we have to really just keep actively forgiving what we haven't done so that we can do more. Because if we're nice to ourselves and reward ourselves for what we have done, then we're way more likely to do better. Okay, so we want to forgive ourselves for the way that maybe you haven't been using your creativity, like your creative gifts. Maybe you're an artist or something, or you have a skill or a talent or a passion or a hobby or something that you like to do when you were a kid, and maybe you haven't done it in a really long time. So to forgive yourself for that so that you can return to it at some point and get back into being creative and artsy and yeah, maybe YouTube or just something where you might have to forgive yourself for how you've left a hobby or something like that, so that, yeah, maybe you can come back to it. Forgive yourself for being flaky or changing your mind a lot. That it just happens, it's if that's your truth, or if you're figuring yourself out, or the world gets confusing, sometimes we don't stay super committed. So whether that's to people or projects or work or whatever, forgive yourself for it, because you're exploring, you're figuring out yourself, and not everything is meant to be just straight committed to. Just the ideal of not quitting, it sounds good, but in the end, sometimes we need to leave. And if you've left something and you regret it, we got to forgive ourselves, because there's always new opportunities. What's for you is for you, and it's going to happen. If that's who you are, those opportunities will come back for you, or new opportunities will come. So yeah, if you've been all over the place, if you've been confused, not really using your skills, maybe self-care has been a little bad, like your mental health has been low, you've been kind of anxious and angry, all of that stuff is so human, so understandable for what's happening in the world. So just understanding yourself more and forgiving yourself for that. And for the worries that we might be putting on other people, we might want to really forgive ourselves so that we might be able to ask for forgiveness from them too. But yeah, I definitely see that there's a mother energy that you might not be giving yourself. You might want to forgive yourself for not giving yourself, so that you can give it to you. Yeah, so being a little bit more aware of self-care, being more of a mother to yourself, understanding it's okay to switch up, it's okay to quit and stuff, but the next part of your life really might want you to start committing to your passion projects and to the things that you really love, because you got to keep that momentum to get the rewards back and to see the progress. But yeah, returning back to your art, returning back to your love, not overworking, and just forgiving everything that hasn't worked out in the past, because not forgiving yourself for the past isn't going to help the future work out. Okay? So, anger's tough, and sometimes we don't want to see ourselves like that. We don't admit that we're angry, but your anger needs forgiveness, because usually there's a lot more behind that we just don't see and that other people don't see. And what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of emotion that needs to be kind of gone through and needs your forgiveness. So you might need to cry some stuff out. And don't think it's a weakness at all, okay? All right. I love you so much. Okay. What does this lizard group need to forgive? What needs their forgiveness? Ooh, okay. So you might be called to step up in a leadership role. You might do have a little bit of aggression to you or something, and not all of it is from built up past trauma or anything like that. Some of it, anxiety and anger, might be from more deeper rooted things, but some of that natural fire is just the kind of creature you are, and I see that it can be used for leadership. And so you want to forgive yourself if you have not ever thought of yourself, or if you put yourself down and not let yourself admit and realize that you should be a leader. right. But yeah, you're very powerful, and you have a lot of wisdom, and yeah, it's a lot of power that wants to be used. So if you haven't forgiven yourself and it's being used in bad ways, you're very powerful and strong. So it can be very sharp, and it could be hurtful to other people or yourself, obviously. So we want to forgive ourselves for that, but just realize that there is a fire within you that, gets really hot and stuff, and that's okay. And it can be used for good things. Okay, what does this lizard group need forgiveness for? What does this group need forgiveness for? Okay, so maybe for how you've been walking away from a lot of things, maybe kind of just walk away and quit from just a lot. Maybe you start a lot of projects and then don't finish them, but maybe you've just left. Like when things get hard, you kind of just leave. But again, that there's just blessings that want to come in for you from these projects and relationships and opportunities that you would need to commit to get them. So it's just for your own blessings, for your own good, for your own legacy. There's things that do need your commitment. So, and then forgiveness for maybe how you haven't used your intuition. You have been more in a fiery energy, or maybe really logical or mental, but not kind of that spiritual depth that intuition is. Like there's intellect, but then intuition is a little bit more using your body to feel and using divinity to channel. So just, yeah, maybe forgive yourself for how you've been closed off, and forgive yourself for how you haven't been maybe tapping into your own intuition, maybe meditating, things like that. And then, yeah, just forgive yourself for the projects that you've started and maybe didn't finish, because you're not going to finish them by hating yourself or shaming yourself for not doing it, right? Okay. What can you forgive yourself for, lizard group? What needs your forgiveness? Oh. So, yeah, again, kind of that the wisdom card was upside down. So maybe just not tapping into your own inner wisdom or listening to wisdom of other people. But really, I'm getting, yeah, that intuition and not using your own wisdom when you kind of knew better, you know better, but you're still doing, something. It's okay. But really forgiving yourself will take away some of the shame. And a lot of times, a lot of our fear or negative behavior is because of the shame of the problem, not just the problem. So if you can forgive yourself for how you feel and how you're dealing with life and your emotions, and we might go through pain, but the suffering is really, kind of a choice, or not a choice, but I mean, they say that, but the suffering is optional. The pain, maybe not, but the shame and stuff, we don't have to add that. And usually that adds way more of a problem than the original issue, okay? But encouragement, you just being really nice to yourself, is really wanting, your higher self really wants you to be nicer to yourself and encourage yourself and accept encouragement, because you might be really talking negatively to yourself. So forgiveness for the self-talk, forgiveness for the self-hate, forgiveness for the negativity, and I'm getting even like self-loathing, like really, really deep hate and shame. That just know that you can forgive yourself for that, but really those are not your voices. Those are voices put in your head or mind from just the world or family or whatever negativity that you've picked up. But your natural state is not hatred, it's not angry, it's not anxious. Okay? So forgive yourself for the things that you have been through and the trauma or whatever and the pain that you've picked up along the way. But just know that that's not your core. All right? I love you. Lizard group, what can you forgive yourself for? for having a lot of options and maybe believing illusions. Of course, when we quit things and we're confused and we don't know which way to go or whatever, a lot of times it's because we believe people or opportunities or things because our fear really wants us to. When we're more anxious and then an opportunity comes, sometimes we put a lot of pressure on that opportunity to fulfill us, or to, oh, this is my big break, or this is the thing that's going to get me money, or whatever. So we put a lot of pressure on it, and then when it doesn't work out or whatever, then we really collapse, or we can be really hard on ourselves or whatever because we had so much hope in it. So forgive yourself for the maybe illusions or the things that you've believed in that you really thought were going to work out and they didn't. You don't want to be hard on yourself for believing those things or choosing those things. They're lessons learned, and maybe you really gained a lot of stuff from those situations that you don't really realize, whether that's just lessons, experience, skills, or whatever. So forgive yourself for kind of believing in illusions in the past, or believing people that you shouldn't have, or taking opportunities that didn't work out, because you still got things from them, and you're on the right path still. And yeah, it's okay. It's okay if you were confused or you just didn't know. All right, last card. And it kind of goes with the flaky thing where you had a lot of options. So I get it. I understand it. You want to forgive yourself, but definitely just know the more you commit, the more blessings are going to come in for you. But I do get that you have leadership and teacher qualities about you. So yeah, just recognize yourself, and maybe forgive yourself how you haven't recognized yourself. Okay? All right, last card. Maybe one more. What do you need to forgive yourself for? I said Mother Energy, did I not? Connecting to the love of Mother Earth, Mother Energy, Mother Nature wants you to be connected to her more, and for you to embrace a more mothering energy for yourself. Okay? And just understanding your gifts, that you're very talented, and maybe embracing a little bit more blue in your life, meaning coolness, calmness, emotional, but really just like getting in touch, wearing more blue and getting more touch with water, and kind of just getting more into that flow state and breathing easier and going towards more of your creativity and playfulness will really help you. So forgive yourself for the hardness that how hard you've been on yourself, and the hardness that maybe you've given to others, and just start to embrace a more encouraging, sweeter energy, a more flowing energy, a more mother energy. And yeah, just know that you do have leadership qualities, and really finding something in your life within yourself that you can commit to will really help. Okay? I love you again so much. You really have a lot of gifts and talents. So I would love to see you really building that momentum. Okay? I love you. Forgive yourself, forgive your emotions, forgive the heat that goes through you, and really try to embrace some more water to cool that down a little bit, okay? But I believe in you. I really believe in you, okay? I love you. I'm moving on. Mwah. Thank you for being here. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to, maybe put a lizard down below if you liked this. Let me know if you enjoyed, what resonated, all that good stuff. Okay? Mwah. Bye. All right, if you picked the Cosmic Egg, this snake card, this is your reading. Okay, what I'm getting that you need to forgive yourself, and the little spiel I'm going to give you that I gave the other group is we need to accept and forgive ourselves, because shaming ourselves, the opposite of forgiveness, or being mad or angry, or just being hard on ourselves for what we've done isn't going to help. Forgiving ourselves will ease that tension and help us move on so that we can accept more. But yeah, being hard on yourself isn't working, I promise you. It's way better to use, in psychology, it's proven that it's way better to use a reward system to get what you love so that you get a natural intrinsic motivation to do better than using fear to try to change our personality or change our actions, okay? So, what we want to forgive ourselves, what you want to forgive yourself for, would be for how you've been holding on really, really tightly, whether that's to your talents or your money or your relationships or just what you have in life, but you've been holding on really, really tight. And Spirit is asking for you to release and let go more. And you hear this all the time, where all you let go, let go, let go. And it's like, what does that mean? But yeah, just accepting and surrendering and humbling ourselves, and really just, yeah, surrendering to the flow and realizing that you can put your faith in your soul and in spirit, and that you are way more capable to bring in what you desire, and especially if you open up then and kind of detach a little bit, you will be able to really have that channel be open for you to bring in more, because you are a very, very creative and spiritual being, I'm seeing, okay? So you holding on so tightly to what you have isn't serving you, because so much more wants to come in for you. But you're just holding so tightly, so worried about what you have and you can't get more or something like that, that it's not able to come in, okay? So we want to forgive ourselves for not letting go, for not releasing, and specifically not releasing your art, or not releasing your work, or not releasing different projects or passions. Like, let's say you do have a channel or different things that really need to be, or wanting to be, just released, and you've been kind of holding on to it. Like, it could be a perfectionist thing, that let's say you have art or something that you're like, it's quite ready yet. Oh, the music, the song, it's not quite ready. It could be better. It could be better. But if you've been sitting on it for a long time, trust me, you releasing that project will instantly make you better, because as soon as you release it, you will be way more determined to do another one and to do the next one and to improve. You'll naturally just start improving when you start releasing and sharing your art and gifts and things like that and your work. But holding on to it so tightly, nothing's improving, nothing's changing. Okay, so the way that you have maybe disconnected from others, be kind of isolated yourself a little bit, and isolated yourself from your relationships that you love, you just might want to forgive yourself for that, because we all need to do that sometimes. We all need to isolate and heal, but there's a lot of good blessings that want to come in from you connecting to others. So if you can forgive yourself for not connecting to them, it might really help you connect to them. Anytime you feel like you just didn't do enough in the past, that really needs forgiveness. Because again, what is it going to change by you sitting in your present thinking about what you didn't do in your past, you know? And I get it, because sometimes it does feel like the worry, or us being hard on ourselves is productive, but it really isn't. And it is a hard concept to understand, because we feel like it's doing something by worrying, but it's not. And you did enough, you did your best for the energy and the time that you had, and you can always do more now or in your future, but having the negative energy towards yourself is going to keep exhausting you, where you don't have the energy to do more, right? So the more positively we can think about ourselves, the more energy we're going to get to be able to change our behavior. Okay, so if you feel like you're gonna lose yourself, like if maybe you didn't let yourself let loose, or you don't let yourself really like go wild, or you don't let yourself it's something about like you control, like you really need control, you really want control, or really you just feel like you need to control certain things in your life that you can really harshly, because other things don't feel in control. And again, it just goes back to that surrendering and letting go, because there's nothing you need to control. Actually, you're controlling a lot less than you think you are, because there's so many more factors in the universe that have way more power over than what we can do and see and stuff. So just realizing that your job here isn't to control. It's not to hold on. It's not to just keep collecting and hoarding these things. It's meant to be released. It's meant to flow. Things are meant to come in and go. And because more better things want to come in, because you embracing a more of a free spirit is going to allow for so many blessings, so much creativity, so much divinity wants to come in for you. But you are just holding on really, really tight, like almost afraid that more and better isn't going to come. And you got to forgive yourself for that, because more and better really does want to come through. Okay, so also forgiving yourself for not giving yourself enough credit. You have so many accomplishments, and you really should acknowledge yourself and receive the acknowledgement and encouragement from other people, because yeah, you might be really underselling yourself, undermining yourself, almost like gaslighting yourself, or like you can up your prices. You're not giving yourself enough like value. But yeah, just learning how to up your self-worth and up your self-value. Forgive yourself for not doing that before, because you are worthy and deserving and valuable and quality. Okay? Then the last things is about your spirituality, and that's just because you are such a divine, powerful spiritual being. Your creativity really comes from your divinity, and there's just a lot you could do with your spirituality, and I think you know that, but maybe you haven't. So forgiving yourself and really being nicer to yourself about that, so that you can do more of it, because spirit really wants to work with you. And then you just just getting back to the path of spirit and forgiving yourself for not talking to spirit or being connected or whatever. Maybe you could journal or get tarot cards or pray or something, but just something little that isn't that overwhelming. But yeah, as long as you're just not shaming yourself for what you haven't done, and really just learning how to connect more, to release more, and share more, creating more. Yeah. Okay? All right, so that's what I wrote. Now we will get into the cards. All right. So, what does this cosmic egg, this snake group, what needs your forgiveness? What wants your forgiveness? In your life, what needs their forgiveness? Okay, again, it's that connectedness. You might have really just, disconnected and isolated yourself, not only from different parts of yourself, but then obviously that gets reflected outwardly, and then that means you're disconnecting yourself from others. So really just getting back in unity with spirit and other people that really love you. Okay. What does this cosmic egg snake group need forgiveness? What wants their forgiveness? Oh my gosh, again with relationships. Like you might have a soulmate that you kind of know is somebody that is a soulmate that you just haven't been connecting with. also reconnecting with your childhood passions and a younger, more free-spirited joy, like we were talking about. Yeah. There's a stability that Spirit wants to give you. And yeah, so just kind of forgiving yourself for not tapping into that. Also, forgive yourself for not believing in chance and that faith part that I was talking about, where just you having faith in the universe and the understanding of the cycles and how everything is a cycle, and that you're up, you're down, and that's just the way it is. But again, you don't want to hold too tight onto either part of the cycle. All right, what needs your forgiveness? What needs your forgiveness? Yeah, just your movement, and maybe you have been a little stagnant, a little stale or whatever. You haven't been moving around, literally just exercise or something, but also just movement with your career, movement with your projects, or movement just gaining that momentum for what you love. So forgive yourself for not moving around so that you can move around more. All right. What does this group need forgiveness for? What does this group need forgiveness for? What does this group need forgiveness for, Spirit? Oh, okay. The deck is tough. Forgiving yourself for victimhood. So forgiving ourselves for kind of staying in that energy of what has happened to us for so long. And it's almost giving the power to the person or situation that puts you in that state of being a victim. So forgiving yourself for giving that power away and giving your power away, and forgiving yourself for staying in that energy, and forgiving yourself for not believing in your strength and survival and ability to change and move past that. Forgive yourself for not believing in your power. Forgive yourself for not realizing how strong you are. Forgive yourself for how low you felt for so long, and for how hurt you were, and what you did when you were hurt, and for just that energy. Just forgiving yourself for being in victimhood. And when life is hard, us dealing with however we deal with that pain, however you responded and however you survived your situation, that's okay. Nobody's knocking your survival. But just forgiving yourself for how long you maybe stayed down because you want to get back up, right? And you want to love yourself, and you don't want to be doing more things against yourself, because that's why you were in victimhood, is because of the way that pain and fear were put on you. So we don't want to add to that. But yeah, if you were low for a really long time, just forgiving yourself, because it's not a straight line. And life is hard. So just forgiving yourself for what you did and how you have been when things were really, really hard. And just knowing that you really don't need to shame. It's not helping. It's not doing anything it's creating worse, to shame ourselves. We don't want to add to the pain. Yeah. Okay. So you are a survivor. You are strong. You're a soldier. You are a powerful, powerful being. You are so divine. You have so many gifts and talents, especially when it comes to spirituality. So forgiving yourself for not reaching out to spirit and not tapping into your spirituality when things were hard, because spirit is there for you now, and Spirit wants to help you get up and be stronger, and to realize that you can, to help you with the compassion that you really need to give yourself, okay? All right, what do you need to forgive yourself for? What needs your forgiveness? What do you need to forgive yourself for? So for leaving, maybe just leaving certain situations, or maybe for not leaving sooner. But forgiving yourself for how you broke down, because that's what took it. That's what it took for you to ascend. That's what it took for you to level up. That breaking down, the sadness for you being a victim or whatever for a second, that, or for a while, that's what it took for you to really understand certain things and learn certain lessons. So just, yeah, forgiving yourself for how you leveled up, which sounds weird, but maybe it's just like the process that it took to get there or whatever. I want to say, like, you might not approve of, or people might not approve of, or something, of how you've leveled up in life. Like if you got a promotion, like you might not be forgiving yourself for leveling up past people, or like taking something that some other people didn't get, almost like survivor's guilt or something like that. Yeah. What do you need to forgive yourself for? Your loss and the sorrow. Yeah, just the pain that you felt, what you lost, forgiving yourself for what you lost, forgiving yourself for how you dealt with that loss, forgiving yourself for how long you stayed down because of that loss. All that needs forgiveness because it's in the past, and for you to get back up and to forgive yourself, or for you to release the grief, you have to forgive yourself. And just forgiving yourself for the pain and for what the pain did to you and stuff like that. All right. I love you. What do you need to forgive yourself for? What do you need to forgive yourself for? Last card. What does this group, this cosmic egg, need to forgive themselves for? Yeah, okay. It's the same thing. It's forgiving yourself for the weakness. Forgive the victimhood, the pain, the sorrow, the leaving, all of this stuff. It's about you feeling like you were weak, and you feeling like just forgiving yourself for being weak. It wasn't weakness. Whatever happened to you and you getting low and being in those low energies, or grieving or crying or all of those things, the sorrow that you felt, the suffering, the depression, the anxiety, all of that, it's the sadness that you felt. You need to forgive yourself for how long you were in that state. Forgive yourself for if you still are getting sad or whatever for what you've been through. That's okay, because that sadness, that pain teaches us a lot in life. It teaches us so much compassion, and that pain leveled you up. So forgiving yourself for maybe the mistakes, forgiving yourself for maybe not knowing your power and having things done to you or whatever that you wish now, like you would have stuck up for yourself, but you didn't, or something like that. But forgiving yourself because you are getting your power back. You are knowing your power. You got your power from that pain, and it couldn't have happened any other way. So forgive yourself because you are so strong and vigorous. But you got to forgive yourself for when you think that you weren't, because that weakness, that pain, or whatever, that lowness, it really isn't weakness. It's humanity, and you can't have the strength and the ascension without that. So You're moving fast now. You're powerful. You're strong. Believe in unity. Believe in connection. Believe in love. Believe in joy. Believe in being connecting with your inner child. Believe in the chance in the universe. Have faith in yourself. Don't hold on so tight. And that might be because of obviously the pain that you've been through, that you really want to hold on to the goodness that you have. But trust me, that pain is over and goodness is just going to keep flowing to you. So you can surrender, you can release, and you can let go of control, because you have the power, you have the strength, you have the divinity that you need to just walk through life a lot more freely and loving and happier. Okay? I love you so much. You've been through so much. So forgive yourself for all of that, because you are a warrior. And you've just got so much power and light and beauty and passion and divinity inside of you that really just wants to have the space to expand you. Okay? All right. I love you. I love you. I love you. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Put a snake emoji down below if you liked it. Tell me what resonated. Or just drop me some emojis, something like that. I love you. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you on the next one, okay? Mwah. All right, if you chose the crocodile pile, this is your reading. All right, intuitively, what I wrote down first is that you might need to forgive yourself for the delirium that you've been through. And I want to say from the exhaustion. You might need to forgive yourself for how you haven't been sleeping. Oh, and the little message that I gave all the piles is we want to forgive and accept ourselves and love ourselves. Because being hard on ourselves and shaming ourselves and using fear tactics or pain or kind of aggression to try to change our personality isn't helping. Shaming, you can't shame yourself to change. You can love yourself to change, but shaming and using fear is only going to create more problems. And it isn't going to create a natural motivation for you to be better. You're going to be wanting to be better because of fear, not because of love. So the reason why we're forgiving ourselves is because forgiveness and love will change us. Shame and pain and fear is doing the opposite, okay? So that's why we're forgiving ourselves, so that new blessings and things can come in, and new change. All right? Okay, so forgiving ourselves for not sleeping so that you can sleep more. Because, again, shaming yourself for what you haven't done, or shaming yourself, for how you haven't taken care of yourself isn't going to get you to take care of yourself better. All right, so forgiving yourself for your health, forgiving yourself for your mental health, for your body health, your emotional health, but really I'm getting your body, forgiving yourself for what you haven't done, if you haven't been working out or eating right or whatever, or if you weren't doing that in the past, forgiving yourself, because you can't change the past, and being, again, hard on yourself isn't going to create those better habits. All right, this is a little tough for me to say, but, no, it's not, but I just mean it might be a little tough to hear. Forgiving yourself for jealousy, forgiving yourself for being envious, and then forgiving yourself for kind of any malintent, bad intentions that you've had towards other people. Especially maybe those that you were jealous about. If there's somebody, like jealousy, how I explain it is that there's usually, when we see somebody and they're doing something that we love or that we want to do or we want to be, and we are so far away from being that or doing that or whatever, we get jealous because the gap that it would take for us to get to where they're at is so far, but we have such a desire to be or do what they're doing that it creates almost like an anger within us because we want that, but it seems so far away. When we find somebody that's doing what we're doing, and we're pretty similar in stages, we don't get as jealous because we know the steps of how to get there. We know that we're closer to that. But when you don't know how to get there, and when it seems so far away, but you want it, you want a piece of that, just recognize that jealousy is when you see something in somebody that you want to be a part of your life, but you haven't been working on it, or you're at the beginning of that journey. So it seems really tough, and that's when we get aggravated. But you have the ability to get there, and if you can recognize that you have a desire to be or do something that they're doing, maybe just recognize that attribute. Like if you see an artist and you're jealous of them or something, or you see somebody making a lot of money and you're jealous because of how much money they make, just know that that desire is put on your heart for a reason, because you deserve to be wealthy and you deserve to have success and stuff like that. But you being in these negative energies are blocking you from that. So forgiving ourselves for the negative energies that we feel towards other people, and maybe even like you were happy when the people that you were like jealous, or certain people that maybe have hurt you or something like that. But what I'm more getting is just people that you wish you were, and forgiving yourself for you kind of wishing bad things on them, or being happy when things bad happen to them. Okay, but I'm done with that. Okay, forgiving yourself for hesitating. You might really be a member of the procrastination, and you might be sitting there like waiting and waiting and waiting, and your patience, just turned into procrastination. So you might think, oh, I'm just being patient, but really you're not acting. So forgiving yourself for just waiting and hesitating. But I do want to just retouch into, because I do want this to be more of a heart message. I'm not trying to just roast you. So let me just preface or say a disclaimer of, I get it and I understand. Like jealousy is so human, right? It's so common, and it's just so understandable. So really just forgiving yourself and knowing that like it's not that big of a deal. Obviously, like you're going to move past it and you're going to move on. And if you're here, you want to improve. So you're on your healing journey. You're wanting to get better. So that's the most important thing. And it's hard when we are at the beginning of a journey and you see these other people and they're successful or whatever. You know, obviously it's like you want to be there, and when you're confused or you don't have all the answers, it can be tough. So just forgiving yourself for not having the answers, and for having a long way to go, and forgiving yourself for maybe just being in that darkness, forgive yourself for being in those negative energies, those like kind of toxic energies. Forgive yourself for, because that's the only thing that's going to get you out of it, is by loving yourself, just recognizing like that is human, and you are not here to be just this perfect spiritual saint or whatever. Just know that you do have some negativity within you, and it's okay, but we do want to work past it, obviously. But I think you will. I think you are healing yourself. But just knowing that it's okay to forgive yourself for all of your negativity or insults or whatever, because we all do it. And pretending like you didn't do it or shaming yourself for it or whatever is only going to get you to do it more. So just forgive yourself, because it's human. But we do definitely want to get you into a more positive thinking state. And there really isn't any reason for you to be jealous, because you have so many skills, you're so strong, and you're tough, and you got a lot of value and worth to you. You just might be focusing on other people, so you don't see your own value, and you might be really, really working really hard, but maybe not in the right areas or whatever. So you're kind of delirious because you're not like channeling your energy quite right. But yeah, definitely need some sleep. You definitely need to rest. Okay, so forgiving yourself for choosing your head over your heart. Forgiving yourself for intellectualizing and that over analysis paralysis. I get it. I get the over analysis paralysis, definitely. And the groups have been very similar, which I kind of assumed when all the reptiles came out. But just recognizing that worrying doesn't do anything, and even though sometimes it feels productive, it's not. But yeah, so forgiving yourself for not chasing your dreams, forgiving yourself for just like watching other people instead of you putting action towards what you love and your passions. Forgiving yourself for any time you've lashed out at other people. Again, when we're in pain and we have fear in us, that comes out. Hurting people hurt people, and of course we want to change and we want to heal, and I'm sure you are working on that. But a big part of you changing your behavior is going to be forgiving and loving yourself and having compassion, like maybe kind of diving in, like, why did I do that? Yeah, just asking maybe for forgiveness from other people, but really just forgiving yourself for the pain that you felt and how you've spread that pain around. Forgiving yourself for if you've been in a very like wired energy, if you've been exhausted, if you've been irritable, if you've been really harsh to people, just forgiving yourself, because obviously if you were feeling better, you wouldn't be like that. And I know you have the power to feel better, and I know you have the power to be nicer or whatever, but just forgiving yourself for when you weren't, because then you were dealing with a lot, you had a lot of pain and hurt or whatever, so that's what that's what you were feeling. So yeah, that's it. That's how you were feeling, and having compassion for the pain and the hurt and the fear that were going through you at the time to give you that behavior or those thoughts. Yeah. So forgiving yourself for not embracing a more sweeter energy, a more feminine energy. Forgiving yourself for maybe withdrawing from people and withdrawing from maybe things that you love or whatever. That's okay, and when we're healing and we're in pain, we just have to forgive ourselves for the way that we react and deal with that pain. That's it. Forgiving yourself for not wanting to change. When we don't maybe know our full power, it's hard to understand that we can change and what that change is going to bring for us. And when we're not connected to our femininity and our spirituality, it's hard to understand that change will be good. And the unknown is really scary. And when you're in a lot of darkness and you're a lot of worry, and the unknown looks even darker. So I get it. And I'm sorry for what you've been through is what I want to say. And I'm sorry for the pain that you've been feeling. But yeah, you just know that you're really, really powerful. And so you having compassion on yourself will be a game changer. Having compassion for the way that you haven't been using your power and that you didn't know that you had power. Giving yourself for the darkness that you're in or been through, and the way that you've maybe used that darkness against other people or against yourself or whatever. Okay, so let's get into the cards. Maybe, you really, really do want peace, and you really do have the power to be really peaceful, but it's like you might be hitting extremes. It might be like you're either really trying to get peace and like not moving at all, so you're just like waiting and hesitating, or you're like being really, really active and delirious and exhausting yourself. So it's like your energy's not really quite going to the right places, and you're maybe not quite resting right, and you're not working right. And I hate to say that, but it's not, you're using your power the best of your abilities, But that's okay. Again, this is about forgiving yourself for not doing that, or for what you, yeah, forgiving yourself so that you can change and that you can rest better and be in peace, and then you can work better towards better intentional things. Okay. And yeah, just forgiving yourself for how long you've sat in darkness. Okay, what does this group need to forgive themselves for? Intellect came up, and I said, okay, so yeah, you might be very, very intellectual, and that's a beautiful, beautiful skill. What Spirit is calling forth for you is for you to be just tapping more into your heart, and just know that you're really in your head, and meditating, obviously, exercising, getting into our bodies would really, really help. But just knowing that, yeah, you can't just think your way through life. It's a lot more needs to be done with feeling your way through life, because your intellect is actually creating a lot of clouds and darkness. So to release that, you want to forgive yourself and, learn how to still your mind a little bit. And a lot of times when we are overthinking, the world starts to become a little bit like self-centered. And I'm a big advocate that being like selfish isn't always a bad thing. For a lot of times we really do need to focus on ourselves and give ourselves the love. Before we can, give anybody else the love, we have to be centered on ourselves. But worrying and anxiety makes our world self-centered in a very negative way. And it makes it where things are a lot just involved with us and the bad and whatever, and it's very pointed and sharp at us. So then we're sharp and pointed at other people, like, we project. So just to know that giving to others and focusing a little bit more on others and how you can help others will really break up some of that cloudy energy, and will get you into your body and your heart more, and level you up if you can really focus on how you can use your skills and intellect to help people, and forgive yourself for maybe how you didn't help others, or how you had to just be focused on yourself for a long time. But now it's time for you to be able to use your skills and intellect and embrace more light for yourself, so that you can help and give others light and stuff. Also, journaling, I'm getting really, really would help with the overthinking, okay? What does this group need forgiveness? Okay. What does this group need forgiveness for? You are a leader, and didn't I put that? Yes, not stepping into leadership. Okay, is what I put for the last thing that I wrote for you not forgiving is, or what needs your forgiveness is how you've not been stepping into your leadership. Okay. So you have a well of possibilities. You have tons of ideas and brainstorms and passion. You have a lot to give when it comes to emotional. And I think that if you have been like angry, or your health hasn't been as good, or you haven't been that happy or whatever, it's because you do have so much to give to others, especially when it comes to emotional, like fulfillment, love, like literally cups of love. You might be so in your head, you forgot how much love you really can give to other people. So you have so much passion, so much potential, and so much love, which makes you and then the intellect, which makes you this incredible leader, that is very, very powerful boss energy, very strong. But if you're really in your head, that tough love, leadership, good quality can turn into maybe more aggression and just kind of hardening yourself and being more crocodile is just not a very it's a little stiff of an energy. So you really want to getting into that flow because you have that ability, you have that potential. This crocodile is sitting on water, but it's sitting in the darkness. If you can bring some light to your life and seeing how much love you're actually sitting on, how much talent, how much passion, how much potential you're sitting on, you would see that you really are very well-rounded, very skilled, very smart, very determined and direct. So that makes really, really good leadership qualities. But if they're stuck in negative and stuck in the overthinking and the overanalysis and all that stuff, it's a very tough, harsh energy, and it can be very irritated and things like that. So you might have been getting jealous over people that are in their leadership. They're in their leadership power, and that's because you have that leadership power. So that's your soul calling yourself to be the leader. So forgiving yourself for maybe not seeing your potential, forgiving yourself for not acting on your passions, forgiving yourself for not receiving and giving love, forgiving yourself for not stepping into your leadership role. Okay? Because you accepting all of that for how you haven't will get you to step into it for now in the future. All right. What do you need forgiveness for? What needs your forgiveness? Oh, not listening to spirit, not listening to your intuition, not listening to others maybe, but really I'm getting not listening to nature, not listening to spirit. So really, yeah, just going outside and listening to the ocean, listening to the birds, stuff like that would really tap you into more of your heart space. And then, yeah, just not listening to your intuitive, softer, sweeter, more childlike, more loving voice in your head. Okay, or in your heart. What needs your forgiveness? What needs your forgiveness? What does this group? Oh, not listening and not tapping into your dreams. Not following your dreams, not letting yourself be in a more dream energy. And in general, you need to sleep a little bit more. So not sleeping and dreaming, forgiving yourself for that. Need some rest and need some meditation, That's how it goes. All right. I love you so much. What else needs your forgiveness? What else needs this group's forgiveness? What does this group need to forgive? Forgive the conflict that you've been in. Your spirit really has a lot of loving growth that it wants to step into. It wants to soften you. There's a lot that wants to be softened because you are a badass or you are a leader. So you need some of that hardness, right? But it's gone too far. And it's gone too dark and too many walls up, things like that. Too intellectual, not enough heart. So forgiving the conflict that you've been in and the mental conflict that got you here, so that you can loosen up and release and melt a little bit and flow a little bit and bring more light into your life, okay? What needs your forgiveness? What wants your forgiveness? What wants your forgiveness? Yeah, just your ascension. There's a lot of just balance that's calling for you. And if what you're thinking about is about, like, it could be revenge, or again, jealousy or something like that, just know their justice will come. Everybody's justice will come. Everybody's karma will come. And you thinking in that energy, again, is giving them or that situation the power. So just know that not only is there love and emotion that wants to come in for you, but a lot of fiery vision and things want to come for you to help you with your dreams. And yeah, just kind of forgiving yourself for maybe forgetting your dreams a little bit, and really kind of stepping back into that and letting spirit reveal and your heart reveal to you what you really desire. Okay, last card. What do you need forgiveness for? What do you need to forgive yourself for? What do you need to forgive yourself for? Oh, not standing up for yourself. Okay, so it could be that you kind of just let things happen to you, so that's why you're kind of hardened, or and you want to forgive yourself for that, because that's just how that situation needed to go, or you know, you just didn't know your power or something like that. But and yeah, you just didn't stand up for yourself. But you can forgive yourself for that because you learned, and again, you can't change the past, and you do have that power now, and spirit is calling you to step into that leadership quality. So forgiving yourself for how you weren't in that leadership, for how you didn't, you know, really put down your boundaries. Yeah, just forgiving yourself for not believing in yourself, and really seeing your potential and your strength, and just being really, you know, two in your head. But yeah, that's what I have for you. You really have a lot of power, a lot of potential, a lot of love. Justice is coming. Just please believe in your growth, believe in your dreams, and believe in spirit, because there's a lot that your heart and spirit want to tell you and showed you. You just have to kind of release those walls a little bit, and just know that, yeah, there isn't any reason for you to be jealous. But if you are, to completely forgive yourself, because that's very human, and that's just showing you, you know, in a distorted way, but it's showing you what is meant for you. Because whatever you're jealous with, that's a real desire that you also want. There's a quality that you also want. So just know that you do have that ability, you do have those capabilities, and yeah, you have a lot meant for you. All right. So yeah, you're a boss, you're a leader, you really have a lot of power. So it's really worth you putting that energy into your dreams, and not waiting, not hesitating anymore, and really going after it, okay? And really just focusing and putting all that energy that you had on maybe on others, and really putting it on yourself, and getting, yeah, more into your heart, okay? I love you so much. Thank you for letting me give a kind of a tough love message. But yeah, you really just, we all just want to give ourselves a lot more compassion, because that's how we will change, okay? I love you. Like, subscribe, and all that good stuff if you enjoyed. I really hope you did. Put a crocodile emoji down below if you liked it, and let me know what resonated, if it hit, maybe what was tough love, maybe what was hard to hear, but just maybe give me a little feedback, or put some emojis or something. But thank you for being in my time and space, and I pray I see you on the next one, okay? I love you so much. Mwah.